Oh! Welcome to Random Movie Reviews. I'm Nathan, and today I'll be talking about Rambo. To avoid any possible confusion, I'm just going to refer to the film as Rambo 4 from here on out. So the last video I did on this channel, I was talking about Stallone's Last Blood.
What?
What the fuck are you talking about?
One of his greatest, if not his greatest action movie of all time. And so because of that, I decided to jump right to Rambo 4, the Rambo sequel that gets routinely named by most fans as being the best sequel of the entire series, because it is the one that kind of goes back to the serious and gritty roots of the first film, while also doubling down on all of the carnage and action and over-the-top violence that you would see in the sequels. There's kind of an interesting balance in Rambo 4 where tonally it's very serious, very intense, very kind of distressing. Like, this movie is no joke. It's fucking intense, which we'll get into. But it also fully delivers on awesome, crazy, badass Rambo stuff. And it would have been the perfect ending for the series, but Stallone just couldn't help himself, and he's like, no, let's do another one where Rambo goes to Mexico to help a girl, or, you know what, full disclosure, I haven't actually seen Last Blood. I will not watch Last Blood. I have absolutely no interest in that movie because I think it looks terrible. The premise of it doesn't even sound like a Rambo movie whatsoever. And I actually learned while doing some research for this video that premise of Rambo going to Mexico and helping someone who got sex trafficked and all of that stuff was an original idea for this Rambo movie, for Rambo 4.
There was an idea incubating around about dealing with Mexico. Rambo had come back to America.
And he discovered all of kind of problem in Mexico related to the illegal immigration.
And I thought that was good. It was more like a modern day Western, but I didn't think it really touched on the essence of Rambo, because I wanted him still to be a lost man, a man who's wandering the world.
That was one of the ideas that was kind of circulating, and then Stallone's like, well, you should probably go with a different idea because that doesn't sound like a Rambo movie. So, Stallone, I got a question for you. Why did you decide to recycle that dumb idea and do Last Blood anyway? I know there are some Rambo fans out there, they're like, actually, Last Blood's pretty good. That's fine. I'm glad you like it. I have no interest in it. I think it looks and sounds terrible, and that's made even more apparent when you watch this movie and you get to the perfect ending for the character. Literally, as perfect of an ending as you could want for a character like John Rambo, and they completely fuck it up with that last movie, but whatever. I disregard that movie entirely. Rambo 4 is actually a really interesting movie for a couple of different reasons. There's actually quite a bit of parallels between this movie and Rocky Balboa, Rocky 6, which was the movie that Stallone did before Rambo. And both movies are similar in that, you know, these are later era sequels to iconic Stallone characters and franchises. And both movies go back to the roots of the original films. Both movies are looking to do the character justice and send them out on a high note. And of course, both movies were directed by Stallone. I know Stallone directed most of the Rocky movies. Rambo, this was the first film that he directed in the series. All the other Rambo movies were directed by somebody else. And his direction in this movie in particular is really strong in terms of action filmmaking. But before we get into the specifics of that, let's just give a brief overview of the plot. So the movie centers around John Rambo. This takes place 20 years after the events in Afghanistan in Rambo 3. Rambo is still living in Thailand, living on the outskirts of society, being a snake catcher and just, you know, living a very low-key type of life. He's then approached by some Christian missionaries who are looking to go to Burma, which is a very dangerous area due to the civil war that is happening between the Burmese government and the Karen people, where they're committing atrocious war crimes that are horrific and downright evil. In fact, the opening of this movie opens up with actual news footage of the events that are happening there. Rambo suggests that they should not go there, especially if they're going to be unarmed, because they're not going to be changing anything because of how hellish it is there currently. The lead missionary guy has assured him, no, I've been here before. This is actually like my 4th or 5th trip coming to Burma. So we know what we're doing. We just need you to take us on your boat there. And he declines the offer, and he's like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't think it's a good idea. He then gets approached by the fiance of the leader of the missionary crew. Her name's Sarah. She tries to talk Rambo into reconsidering the offer, to which he declines. But then he reconsiders and decides to take him upriver to Burma. And it doesn't go long before things go south, when there are some Burmese pirates who approach the ship and they're looking to rob them and start trouble. And then when they see the woman, then things go really south, because Rambo knows exactly what they're planning on doing with her. And Rambo tries to do everything he can to de-escalate the situation, but knowing that they're not going to accept any other proposal except to give him the girl, Rambo acts in self-defense by shooting all the guys, thus really upsetting the lead missionary guy, saying, no, you shouldn't kill anybody on any circumstances. Rambo grabs him by the throat and he's like, do you realize what they were going to do to her? And he's like, these Burmese pirates and what's going on here, they don't play by your rules. They don't care what you believe in. They're going to do what they want to do. After that event, Rambo's like, you know what? I want to go back. It's not a good idea. And Sarah's like, we have a commitment to make here. We can't let this stop us. We made a promise, and we have to go there. And Rambo's like, all right, I guess we'll continue. They go there without any other issues. He drops him off, and then he goes back. But of course, as they're there in the village, they're trying to help the people who are there, the wounded who are being destroyed and completely savaged by the Burmese government. And then, of course, things go really, really bad when the SPDC, State Peace and Development Council, it's quite an ironic name, they show up to the village, completely attacking the village, burning it down, killing all the innocent women and children. There's also some sex crimes, and it's a really, really horrific event. And then the missionaries get kidnapped, and Rambo is made aware of this when the pastor of the church comes and finds him and tells him of the situation that's going on and the mercenaries they're sending to go and try to rescue their mission troop. Rambo takes them upriver, initially just letting them do their mission and not getting involved. And when the soldiers are there and they're seeing the Karen people getting terrorized by the SPDC, where they're doing the thing where they're throwing mines in the water and they're making bets and they're forcing the villagers to run across it and to see who gets blown up first. At first, it seems like they're kind of trapped. They don't know how to handle the situation. And then that's when Rambo comes out of nowhere with his bow and arrow, starts taking out motherfuckers. There's that one great shot where he shoots that guy one more time and he lands on the mine. Boom! Explodes. And that's when the last half of this movie becomes full-blown action mission Rambo awesomeness, where Rambo is taking charge of the crew. He's like, no, I'm going to help you guys. This is what I do. I'm a soldier, no matter how much I don't want to be, and I want this life to be behind me. I'm accepting what I am, and I'm using all of this anger and aggression and all of my special abilities as a former Green Beret to help these people. Much to the reluctance of the one bald British guy who is a dick the entire movie. But Rambo ends up taking charge anyway, and so they go into the village at night and they start rescuing the missionaries. And then it goes into the next day where the SPDC discovers that the missionaries were taken. They're going back after them for revenge. And that's when we get to the final battle of this movie, which is kind of iconic at this point. America, fuck yeah! Where Rambo shows up at the perfect time when we think that all hope is lost. Rambo shows up, beheads that guy with the machete, gets the .50 caliber machine gun, and oh boy, it gets kind of messy. And then after the battle ends and Rambo sees Sarah and he waves at her and he thinks about the conversation he had with her earlier, talking about where he's from and why he doesn't decide to go home. Well, after this whole ordeal and after that conversation with her, the movie ends with Rambo going back to Arizona to his father's ranch, walking on the ranch, and the movie ends. And that is Rambo 4. What separates this Rambo movie from its sequels and most other action movies in general is that the first half of this movie is very, very serious and very grounded in reality. The atrocities that Stallone recreates in the movie with his direction is not far-fetched at all. I mean, there are actual documentations that show that the SPDC have actually done these horrific actions to the Karen people, whether it's the mine chucking thing or them just terrorizing them, killing children, raping the women, all this stuff. I mean, it's no joke. And I realized when this movie came out, it had very negative reviews because critics thought that the violence was borderline exploitive with how it was being portrayed. I disagree with that. I think Stallone just wanted to be as truthful as possible about this event that's happening in Burma, that is still happening to this day, that doesn't get talked about at all.
In Burma is the largest genocide in the world. A civil war has been going on for 60 years. As we speak right now, people are going through hell, and it's horrendous, and it's brutal beyond belief. And I thought, if I'm going to do an action film, I'd like to do something that also shows light on a dilemma that perhaps can help people. So you have a cross between an action film and also something that's happening realistically.
Like a lot of people, when I first saw this movie, I had no idea that this was happening somewhere in the world to this extent. I mean, it really is quite brutal. And so the first half of the movie, very serious. It's not fun. I mean, it's certainly like engaging. As I was watching the movie for the first time, I mean, I've seen this movie several times, I was really on the edge of my seat and also going like, oh man, this is a lot more intense than I initially thought it was going to be. And even in comparison to the first Rambo movie. And then when we get to the second act of this movie, where once again we're seeing the Karen people get completely savaged by the SPDC, and they're doing the mine thing again. And then when Rambo shows up with that bow and arrow, it's like a fuck yeah moment where the violence in the second half of this movie and the action, I won't necessarily say that it's like fun to watch, but let's just say that there is a cathartic element to it. There's a catharsis where you're seeing Rambo, this fictional action hero, being brought into this real world, real war situation, and you're seeing justice being brought upon the SPDC and on behalf of the Karen people that is so justified. Undeniably, this is not a movie that's going to be for everybody. It's essentially Rambo meets Saving Private Ryan is kind of the tone of this movie. And right off the bat, that's going to turn some people off, which I completely understand. I mean, it is maybe the most violent action movie ever made, but there is a reason, there is a purpose, there is meaning behind the action and the violence. And Stallone himself has talked about how proud he is of this movie, and he personally considers it to be the best action movie that he's ever made.
I've done action films before, but this one is by far I'm the most proud of.
But yeah, I would probably have to say that this is the best Rambo sequel, even though I really love Rambo 2. And like I said, I'm not skipping over those movies. I plan on talking about both Rambo 2 and 3 in the future. I just really love this franchise as a whole, with the exception of Last Blood, which I have absolutely no interest in. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Rambo 4. Really, really love this movie. But I want to hear from you guys, specifically the Rambo fans. What are your thoughts on this movie? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Mention it in the comments below. And also rank the Rambo movies, 1 through 4 specifically. If you want to rank the 5th one, by all means, go ahead. But rank them in the comments below. Let's get a good conversation going. And as always, thank you guys for watching.